Stamp It group Easter blog hop. You have landed here at Paper Tales Stampin' and Create with Mickey, the Craft Table Chaos, and I'm going to show you how to make this super fun Easter card that has just a little bit of a twist. I have dubbed this card the He Is Risen card, and that's kind of what it's supposed to symbolize. It also actually has the saying, He Is Risen. Originally, I was going to use the Stampin' Up! Faith Collection stamp set, but me and my awesome self lost the He Is Risen stamp. I seem to do this every year. I did it last year with the exact same stamp. Can't find it. It's in this house somewhere. So apparently it's just a new tradition to lose the stamp that says He Is Risen. But to offset that, I have grabbed a couple of old stamp sets from Stampin' Up, the Easter Promise and the Gift of Hope, for both the sentiments that I will be using tonight in the card. I will, however, be using the cross in the actual card itself. That's actually going to be our background here. But otherwise, all these stamps, the sentiments are from retired stamp sets. All the measurements for the card are on the PDF. I'll try to pop them up on the video or even in the description of the video, but there is a full PDF download that is free for you to use that does have all of the measurements for the card and some step-by-step instructions. Some of the other products that we'll be using this evening are the Gorgeous Grape and Early Espresso ink and both the cardstock. We'll also be using basic white cardstock, mostly using a lot of Designer Series paper, and that will be the Perennial Lavender and the Country Woods. We'll also be using the Essential Pack Baker's Twine and then the Frosted Loose Dots, which I have a little trick I want to show you with those. So let's dive right on in. Now, the card, when we're all done, will actually stand up, and that's where the little twist comes in. I'm just going to go ahead and show you this now. When you look at the card, it just looks like a regular card, but when you open it, the cross will kind of pop out at you, and it's decorated on both sides. So when it stands up, it kind of becomes a display piece, which I think is amazing when it comes to cards. If I can turn a card into something that they can display easily, it just makes the card even more special. But I will show you how to darken the twine as well. There's a couple little tricks there, or you can do the twine with just the plain. I just used the crumb cake. You could use black or even white. I just thought the crumb cake was more fitting. I do like the darker color, but it can get kind of messy. But let's go ahead and get started with our card base. And for that, I have all of my panels cut out here, ready to go. This particular panel is 2 inches by 5 3/4, and that's actually for our envelope. So I'm just going to set that aside. So the card base itself is a different size, and I really want to stress this because I don't want anybody to miss this note. Normally our cards are 5.5 by 8.5. This card base is 5.5 by 8 1/4. It is not a full 8.5 sheet. And the reason is because of the way it folds. We wanted the cross centered, so we had to cut it back 1/4 inch to make it more centered in the card. You could leave it like you normally would, but I just think thought it looked kind of funny being off-centered. So we're going to score this at 1 1/4, and then we'll score again at 4. And to fold those, you're going to want to do how do we do it? The mountain and then the valley folds. So it'll be mountain here on the 1 1/4, and then valley fold here like you normally would on a card at the 4 inch mark. The other side of the card, the back side here, is a full 4 1/4 like it normally would. And then in the PDF file, I have some little patterns here that actually have these labeled because of the different panel pieces. I don't remember exactly how I have it written out, but I do believe it's A, B, and C, and then we flip it over, and then D and E. But I could be incorrect on them, but I tried to label them to try to make things a little bit easier for you guys. And we're going to kind of break things out a little bit, and we're going to do our stamping, and then we're going to build our base, and then we will build the cross. So we're going to set all this aside, and we're going to grab our basic whites. And we're also going to grab our the smallest piece of the DSP of the lighter color of the perennial lavender. And we're going to start with the gorgeous grape. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp my Happy Easter onto my basic white for the center of the card. And just like that. And then I'm going to grab this other sentiment here that is from, I think this one's from the Promise is the Easter Promise set. And this one is actually an optional. You don't necessarily need to do this, but I thought it would be neat to put a little message here on the inside panel of the card just to add a little extra something. Again, you don't have to do that, or you could do something different if you wanted. You could do a scripture verse or really whatever you wanted to do there. You could even put a flower. A thorn, a crown of thorns would be kind of neat too, I think. And I'm going to try to get this lined up onto my smallest basic white. All right, and then I'm going to close up my purple, or gorgeous grape rather. And then I'm going to grab my early espresso, and I'm going to grab my little He Is Risen stamp. And this one actually says He Is Not Here, for He Has Risen. I wish I could find, I know I have one somewhere. I have a stamp that says He Is Risen, and then another set that goes with it that says He Is Risen Indeed. My great-grandfather used to say that all the time, and it's just something I remember. It'd be kind of cute to put that on a card. And that's not quite where I wanted it, so I'm just going to turn that over, because the half of this is going to be covered, so it's okay if you mess up. Just flip it over. Yeah, the vines will go the wrong way, but that's okay. I actually did a whole panel upside down on one of the other cards, so it's absolutely fine. So you kind of want to go more towards the left side of the designer series paper here. Oh, that looks good. All right, so we're going to set these aside, and then there's the DSP that goes with them, because we're kind of done with them right now. Oh, no, we're not. I forgot a stamp. Oh dear. The cross. Oops, I forgot. Now we're gonna, in the directions I say to use 3rd generation stamping, but you could also use 4th generation for the cross. And by that, I mean stamping 1, 2, 3, and then you would stamp the 4th generation on top of there. So let's go ahead and do like the instructions say with the third generation. So 1, 2, 3. And I'm just going to stamp that lightly over my Happy Easter message. Just like that. If you wanted it a little bit lighter, you could easily do that. Just like I said, just stamp it off one more time. I thought that was a little too light. I did that on my first card here. You can see I did the 4th. I did 4 generations there, and then I did 3 generations on this one. And I just like the way it looks with the darker color. I just think it looks nicer. All right, now we're gonna set that aside. And then we're going to build our base. And to do that, it's actually pretty simple. We're going to take our larger pieces of designer series paper and literally just match them up. Now I'm going to just glue all these panels together. And both the purple and the crumb cake are from the Perennial Lavender Designer Series paper. I thought the Gorgeous Grape really just kind of stood out with the crumb cake, and it's springy. But I know the churches also drape the cross with a purple banner on Easter as well. So it kind of has a multiple meaning, which is always a double bonus. And, whoops, and then the last one here. Alright, now we're going to put these panels onto our card base. Oh, I'm going to jump forward real quick. I did find in my last card it was to take the white inside piece and go ahead and put that on before you attach it. It just made lining up things a lot easier. My glue gun does not want to go where it's supposed to. So I'm just going to line that up on the left side, because this side will be exposed, so we would like our message to stay inside. And if you want, since we already did that one, we could go ahead and do that other sentiment real quick. And that's just simply going to attach the white to the purple DSP. And then I will attach that to one of the smaller panels here. And kind of down towards the bottom, or in the center, or wherever you want. Okay. So we're going to attach this here in the bigger spot, because it is the center of our card. Just like that. And then the one I just attached that little sentiment to, I'm going to attach to the next panel to it. Try to line them up as close as possible. And then I'm going to turn it over to the back side. I'm going to attach this panel to this little side right here. And the reason I'm doing that is because you can see that panel when the card is closed. So I wanted to make sure it also had some decoration as well. All right, so that is our card base. It's done. And we can set that aside temporarily. And now we're going to build our cross. But before we do that, I'm going to go ahead and put these together so I don't lose them, because I will. I'm just going to take the sentiment and put it on the purple DSP. Like like that. And then I'm going to put glue on the back of this. And attach the Country Woods piece. And the reason I'm doing this is because the back side can be seen in the card. When you open and close it, you can actually see the back side. So I kind of wanted to make sure it was all cohesive and nothing really stood out, but you know, the back side just kind of all blended together. You can see here what I'm talking about. This is the sentiment there. I just kind of wanted it all to flow together. Speaking of the sentiment, in the PDF, I have the measurements for the paper that actually will fit for the He Is Risen here. So it is a lot smaller and a little bit longer. And those measurements that are in the PDF file are exactly what you need for this, not for this bigger one that I'm using. All right. I'm going to set that piece aside. So there's our cross pieces. And to build this, we're just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put the larger of the wider of the grain, or the wood grain paper from the Country Woods onto one side of the gorgeous grape cardstock. And this is the cross panel of the cross. But this is actually going to be the back side because, again, we want it decorated. We don't want anything sticking out. We want everything flowing. So in the end, our cross is actually going to go on this side, not this side. So to build the cross, we're going to want to attach your early espresso approximately 1.25 inches from the top. So right about there. I was trying to get it right in the center. Doesn't always work out, but we'll give it a good go. Let's see. There we go. Well, it's not quite 1/4, 1.25 inches, but and I move the whole thing so everything is crooked. It's okay if it's a little off. It's not that big of a deal. All right, and now we're going to add the DSP. I'm going to do the crossbar first. It doesn't matter which way you go with it, which direction you go first. I just have a preference. I think the twine kind of hides the seams a little bit better this way. Everything just kind of flows, and then we're going to do our longer one. Just like that. Now we're going to add our twine. And there's a couple of things you can do with the twine here. I have both the light and the dark, as I said. If you wanted a darker, not black, but a darker brown, you could take your twine and color it. So I have a scrap piece here with I use the deep alcohol blend, Stampin' blends, the deep, not neutrals. And this is the number 100 is which one this one is. And you simply just, run it over the twine. You can really do this with any ribbon, actually, with your alcohol markers, and it'll change its color. The nice thing with the alcohol markers is that dries super, super quick. But if you wanted to just use the early espresso stamp pad, you could also do it that way. Just simply by grabbing a hold of it. I'm going to grab a pin here. Press down on the twine and just drag it across the ink. I'm going to do that a couple times until it's good and colored. The only downfall with this way is that you do have to let it to dry out, and sometimes the ink can take a bit. But the results are pretty much the same. It's a little bit messier also. But for tonight, I'm just going to stick with the crumb cake. I don't remember how many inches it is that you need. Again, it's in the tutorial. There's specific directions. Now I'm going to wrap that twine around the cross in an X pattern, alternating sides. I'm probably going to wrap it 3 or 4 times each side. And then I'm going to trim off the excess in the back, and to hold it in place until we're ready to glue it, I'm just going to attach a little small piece of washi tape right here. And now we're going to attach the remaining piece of Gorgeous Grape to the back side of the cross. And then we're going to attach the sentiment to the very bottom of the cross on the back side and trim off any excess there. And now we're going to attach the whole cross to the very first panel on the card base. And now we are ready to attach our assorted loose gems to the card base in a starburst pattern. But before we do that, I want to show you a little trick I discovered with these assorted loose, I guess they're loose dots. These little sheets of glue dots we get in kits. I save those, and I just pick out the colors that I want to use, and in this case I'm using the yellow or the gold, and I'm just going to peel off one of the glue dots, and then I'm going to simply attach the little dot that I need onto that glue dot, and then that way I have a whole sheet ready to go, so all I have to do is take them off and put them on. It makes things go a lot quicker. Now to create the starburst pattern with the loose gems that I have applied to my glue dots, I'm going to start with the smaller of the dots, and I'm just going to work my way out in a starburst pattern, and again go from small, and then some medium, and then some large. And now we're going to flip this, or turn this over rather, and we're going to attach the remaining piece of the Country Woods DSP to the back side of the cross. And this will have our cross all in the same hardwood designer series paper. And now I'm going to add a couple of gems to the sentiment itself using the same loose dots that we did with the starburst. And now for the last step, we're going to decorate our envelope by applying some glue to the flap of the envelope, and then we're going to attach this remaining piece of perennial lavender to the envelope itself, and then we're going to trim off all this excess here. There's really not a whole lot, so you could leave it if you wanted to, but I want to trim mine off. And now we have this gorgeous card with coordinating envelope to send out to a loved one for this Easter season. I hope you have gotten some inspiration with this card with us tonight, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the blog hop. We will see you next time. Happy stamping. Hey everyone, and thanks for hopping in this evening with our Team Stamp It group Easter blog hop. You have landed here at Paper Tales Stamp and Create with Mickey, the craft table chaos, and I'm going to show you how to make this super fun Easter card that has just a little bit of a twist.